Coffee with Namma Ashwath.
We have a very special guest today, Mr. Nikhil Kamath. I welcome Nikhil Kamath, my good friend, my well-wisher, for today's program.
Thank you, Ashwathnarayan.
Thank you, Nikhil. So, Nikhil was a very special person, very promising person. Entire country and entire world is looking at you. The kind of achievements what you have done, Nikhil. And I feel really proud that I know you. I've been working very closely with you. So more so, people are very curious to know more about you. They know about you, like to know in a different aspects, in a different way, in a different circumstances. So asking few things in the start with, like would like to know more about your personal journey, about your childhood.
Yeah.
That was more interesting for the youngsters.
Yeah.
ನಮ್ಮ ಪಡ್ಡೆ ಹುಡುಗರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ will be definitely a true inspiration.
Right.
So to have a great dreams, how we can realize, how we can work towards that. So within 60 seconds,
Yeah,
would like to know
sure.
about your childhood.
Sure. Let me preface this by saying he has said all these things which are very humbling to me, but he happens to be one of the nicest, kindest, very unlike a politician I have ever met. The fact that he was a doctor, and I think that reflects in his personality at some level, is an added bonus. How accessible he is, especially to people in my ecosystem, budding entrepreneurs, I think it's a big boost for all of us. And we continue to work in Bangalore and appreciate Bangalore a little bit more because of him. About my childhood, I was born in Shimoga. My dad worked for Canara Bank. My father is Konkani, my mother is Kannadiga from Mysore.
Fantastic collaboration.
Yeah, father got transferred to Haryana. We went there for 3 years. Came back to Bangalore when I was about 7 years old. We lived in JP Nagar, Jayanagar, and we have lived there ever since. Stopped going to school early, started doing businesses, started trading and a call center job at 17. And as we speak, I am 36 years old today, and I have been doing exactly the same job I do today for the last 18 and a half years of my life. So I have the same routine. I wake up every day, do the same stock markets, and it has been my job for this long.
It's really very impressive, Nikhil, to hear this, at the age of 14 itself, you are able to do business, trading, many interesting things. And you are dared to, stop going to the school, and they started your own journey with a kind of confidence. Probably this is more appealing and interesting to many of them. So what made you to think in this direction?
I think many of us are a byproduct of our childhood. I think the age group between 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, so much happens in our psychology which we don't have vivid memories of. If I had to truly introspect, it must have been some kind of a precocious need to want to make money early, to want to be independent early. I think we all have that at different levels. Maybe I had that a little bit more by virtue of my understanding of my surroundings when I was a child.
So, do you feel the kind of decision what you have taken during your early childhood, during that childhood of getting off the school, taking this decision? Do you regret now?
Now I don't regret because I got lucky. I feel like how smart you are, how hardworking you are, or how intelligent you are is not necessarily as critical to the recipe to be successful as things like timing, luck, the opportunities that your ecosystem provides. I think we got very lucky to start doing businesses around stock market when stock markets boomed. If I were to do the same thing today, maybe things will not work out. Very often, I think entrepreneurs take all the credit for financial success or the success of scale, but we always forget that the ecosystem that we grew up in, the environment allowed for us to thrive. I think in many ways, if not for Bangalore, if not for access to the kind of people that we met, if not for the circumstantial effect of stock market, a lot of what we achieved sounds a little bit overreaching when I say it, but I think we got lucky by virtue of where we were at what point of time. Can I stop you there and ask you a question?
Yeah, definitely.
Huh?
Most well.
ನೀವು first doctor ಆದ್ರಿ. Why did you switch from being a doctor to becoming a politician?
To be more frank, just like you, somehow I got connected with the politicians who came around campaigning, seeking votes. Somehow I got connected with their way of doing things, and I thought in my life also I need to become a politician. So contest for election. So that became an aspiration. So
Was it difficult in the beginning to become a politician? You must have started off from zero, Allah?
yeah, definitely. It is definitely, I agree with you. See, in society, you can do things without anything else. It's all you know very well. It's only your heart commitment and your will and wish to reach what you want to become. How much willing are you to work towards that? How much responsibility you are willing to take? How much of hard work you are willing to do? That all matters, and how you are able to take entire team together. See, taking everybody together also and connecting with everybody needs a lot of commitment and passion. So the passion and commitment can enable and facilitate whatever it might be. You can with or without anything, you can reach what you want. So probably I started in the similar. I had a lot of confidence, probably just like you.
And how have you not changed? Like, not just me, but I think many people who have had the opportunity to meet you, I think I would not be wrong in saying every single one of them becomes your friend very quickly. And after having this journey for so long, how have you continued to remain the same? If I had to define one character in you which I don't see anywhere else, is how humble you are. What makes you retain that?
Thank you, Nikhil. See, meeting people like you itself, there are many more great achievers. In front of their achievements and their commitment and their passion, I feel my achievement and my things are nothing. So probably the kind of expertise, the kind of talent, what people possess, in front of me, they are nothing. My strength is working with everybody, organize, connect, manage, take things together, and to do things which can impact the lives of the people. That passion is taking me, has brought me so far. Respecting each other's feeling is very important. Probably we need to be a good human being. See, hurting somebody, not doing it, it doesn't go well. Either for us, not for the other person.
Correct.
So probably meeting bigger people, better people, achievers, and who are having a great personality will make us reform and make us think how better we can become. So probably that has made me to be a better person in at least a small way. Whatever small way I can be a better person. There's a long way to go on to improve our qualities. There's a lifelong improvisation can happen. But anyhow, your story is really impressive. But taking that, dropping out of the school, how it was taken by your family, sir?
Not very well initially. I think I come from a typical Brahmin, South Indian middle class family. So I think education is the most important factor in families such as that. But over time, now because of the few things which have worked out in life and we have gotten very lucky, I think now they're okay with it. But back then they were definitely not.
Do you advise the same many of the children looking at you? They would like to drop out of school.
No.
Take this kind of
It would be really
this
funny.
kind of decision.
I should talk to the higher education minister and on
I'm
his show
really worried.
advise that.
Where will I get my student? Where will I get my student? Nobody will join my higher education. So all of them will drop out. So when Nikhil has become such a successful story, becoming a great entrepreneur, and he knew what he was doing, such a strong decision. It's such a strong decision and such a young age.
Illa Ashwathan, I feel like for every 100 people who dropped out of school when I dropped out, I'm talking like 20 years ago, maybe the percentage of success was 3%, 4%, 5%. We were one of the few lucky ones. But considering how the market and the world has changed today I think that percentage will be not 5%, it will be 0.001% because the world is a lot more competitive and evolved today. So I would recommend for everybody to create that base of going to school, going to college and having a degree.
I mean to say that space is reducing.
Correct.
It's become highly competitive.
Correct.
So I heard more interesting things.
Huh.
In the very engage itself, you were selling mobiles also, sir.
Yeah.
Mobile insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, I was when I think I was about 15 or 16 with a friend of mine, a Marwadi friend called Tejpal. I used to sell cell phones. So we used to live on that road where Jain College used to be there in Sajjan Rao Circle, that road. Marwadi kids had mobile phones very early in life. And
So for them also, it's in the DNA to start the business.
right. I think
So selling in insurance also, what was that?
Insurance I was selling in the call center. 24/7 it was called. I used to sell accidental health insurance to people in the West, in UK.
Yeah. So overseas.
Yeah, it was fun. It used to be a UK shift, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. We would call people up and read them a script with some rebuttals and Q&As we had beforehand. And by the end of the call, we would try and convert them. I loved the experience, did it for a couple of years, and then I stopped.
Each, as you rightly said, even when I was talking to my son or myself, every child wants to earn money. So that is most attractive, most inspiring.
Right.
Most of them, not I can't tell everyone.
Right.
Most of them in their lifetime they want to earn lots of money,
Right.
be a greatest achiever.
Right.
So they want to do that. So for that, what is the mantra, do you think?
I think there is no mantra. If anything,
A formula which we can,
I wish
at least some framework.
I wish there was a formula so I could learn it and replicate it myself today. But I think the timing of everything is very important. And to figure out which industry you're going to join and what the prevailing cycle in that industry might be, I think is very important. So you want to join an industry which might not be very big now, but in 10 years will be the most relevant, cool thing around, in my opinion.
So keeping this kind of success rate, the challenges, the ecosystem, what is your advice for them to select? See, if somebody wants to select one particular area, particular profession, particular opportunity, what kind of homework? See, where there's a will, there's a way. We keep telling them where there's a will, there's a, not necessarily everybody wants to become an employer, a businessman, entrepreneur. This kind of mindset will come to few people. Many people, because they didn't get employed also, they look at some other opportunities, some other venues, avenues where they can, make their lives.
Yeah.
So, I feel, how many people can we find who are willing to take this responsibility? I don't see, each person will have that, strength, commitment, vision. I want to become a businessman, I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to bet, I want to challenge, I want to take it head on and I prove myself. Probably 1%, sir.
Yeah, but I think, Ashwatthana, everybody has to find their own journey. I don't think one should compare themselves with somebody who has done well in the lens of capitalism. I don't think somebody who has made more money is necessarily the definition of success. If you were to truly equate
You've taken a right topic and the right words. Success measurement is not just only earning money.
Yeah.
People would like to hear more about this from you.
Yeah, I know people who have so much money and are so unhappy. And I also know people who have some amount of money. I'm not saying they have no money. I think money does have an effect to a certain extent. I know people who have some amount of money but are significantly happier because they live more well-rounded, fulfilled lives. I'd once had the opportunity to meet this ex-prime minister of, where was it, Bhutan or Tibet. They had once gotten rated the happiest country in the world. So once I had the opportunity to meet the ex-prime minister of Bhutan, and he had this presentation where he graded why people are happy. And I think the sense of belonging, community, came first on that list, which was very surprising. And I think money ranks highly on that list, of course, but there are so many things that we ignore. Having a family or having a good relationship with your family, having good health. I think this is something most of us ignore. You can have whatever amount of capitalistic goodies in a way that you might have, but if you don't have good health, everything else is useless. The word success has to be redefined in a different manner. All of these ingredients don't have to go in one form or another, and I would not know how to grade which one. But I don't think it's only money or capitalism which should rank success.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Similarly, in this direction itself, now the national education policy, what is being promoted by and brought in, the national education policy 2020, it emphasizes more on these aspects to have more ethics, morals, have the sense of belonging, social responsibility, and what we can give back to the society through our learnings.
Right.
So that is the best possible way we can contribute to the society. I think your suggestion and your statement completely aligns with this.
Yeah.
So probably we need to take more and more measures or work towards this. We need to work towards this to ensure that the entire society becomes more responsible for themselves and how to take care of themselves and how they can take care of society. I think the best thing what we can do in our lives. So entrepreneurship is also now Bangalore is known very well for the entrepreneurship. So something very surprising for me because the kind of institution what we have created is not a real great institution. But even then the entrepreneurship thriving, what is happening here, it really impresses. And
I agree.
Definitely it is very inspiring to hear how the entrepreneurship has been growing right, left, center. And looking at you itself, a great entrepreneur, whatever might be, whatever you are, earn money, it is for a purpose, for a dedication. In the beginning, you wanted to earn money. Now, after earning money, you are working towards some cause. All the social commitments been working. But ultimately, what is it, entrepreneurship? What is happening in Bangalore? What is that the success or the kind of we are seeing in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think Bangalore strategically had a first mover advantage. The world changed around technology, and by virtue of having many services outsourcing companies set up base here, I think we always had a lot of tech people around compared to, like I'm talking about density compared to other cities. And very organically that seems to have evolved. The one reason I think why Bangalore attracts a lot of tech talent is by virtue of the culture of the city largely. I remember we were talking about some article earlier, but that is so true. I think if you go to Hyderabad, the first thing somebody will do is show you how big their house is and what all is inside the house. If you go to Delhi, people will probably show you what car they have. I think when you come to Bangalore, people will pitch you a business idea or a startup idea, or they'll talk about what startup their cousin or brother started or they invested in. And I think that unique thing that Bangalore has is not easily replicatable. And I think other states and cities will find it hard to catch up because this ecosystem has already gotten so big.
Extremely good statement you have made. The way the things are happening are the ecosystem of Bangalore and what we talk, what is the culture of Bangalore in the terms of entrepreneurship. It's really a fantastic statement what you have made. So further, what do you suggest how to take it more in a better way?
I mean, like every other city, we have our issues. I think we have issues in infrastructure, we have issues in different kind of things. But I would say these are problems with not simple solutions. Maybe I was more unaware of how complicated these problems were a few years ago. But after having spent a little bit of time researching how complex the system truly is, I think it will take time. It will take a lot of work, but eventually, I think with people like you, we will get there.
Nikhil, you have been mentioning about the culture of Bangalore, like how the people they behave and they do things, how they do things here, and what they prefer to show, what they prefer to say. All these things are very interesting to know about all these things. So probably you are showcasing the Bengaluru in a better way.
Right.
Probably that's a big statement. It's a big strength. So further to there's a saying also, culture eating strategy as a breakfast. With this saying, probably what you would like to say, one is the infrastructure is one part, but as a culture, what more can be done? People can, equitably, inclusively, the inclusiveness and equitability can be brought in. How we can further promote.
Yeah, when you have increased dialogue between government and entrepreneurs, or government and thriving entrepreneurs, I feel it's like this pat on your back. If somebody has moved to Bangalore from, say, Calcutta, and he's hoping to set up a small IT business in some pocket of Kodmangla, I think the fact that he can meet you and discuss his idea and talk about what he intends to do, just having that communication and time with government, I think will go a long way in encouraging him to build more in Bangalore. So I think increased dialogue between government and people coming here, I think is a good idea.
So how can the new breed of people can be brought in?
I think it'll happen naturally. Yeah. I think
Follow the leader.
I think
Follow the entrepreneurs.
I think the newer people, Ashwatthana, it's so surprising, but I'm 36. If I meet a 26-year-old boy, by virtue of evolution, he is definitely smarter than me. If I go one generation lower and I meet a 16-year-old boy, he's also smarter than me, but smarter than the 26-year-old boy as well.
As you go in there,
Correct.
reverse order, there
Yeah.
is more better things we can see.
Correct. I think evolution is organic, but the
So,
speed is increasing.
You mean to say how to recognize this talent, how to promote, enable, facilitate
Yeah.
this kind of recognition of this kind of talent in a very younger age. How it can be done?
I think through education. I think
Yeah,
first
true.
they should be enabled to take advantage of the opportunities before them, but then also
You mean to
things.
say you need to bring out this of the formal system, enabling more flexibility, more enablements.
Yeah, if I can think of an idea.
And the entire academic structure of the campus, entire structure is going to change.
Correct. Maybe one idea is having a startup fund in government colleges where you pick the
Why
best
don't you have
ideas and fund.
one institution under you? Why don't you try this?
ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅಶ್ವತ್ಥನ, ನೀವೇ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ.
There you are not leading, so you have become more a spectator.
Yeah,
but I want you to lead. I want you to take the front line. We want you to take the front line. You should, seeing this statement. See this statement from you. It can really bring the fire out of many talents, many youngsters. The kind of talent what they possess. Probably they don't realize, like Anman. Many people don't know about their own talent, their own potential.
Yeah.
So it's a great statement for many more people to get inspired and try their luck.
Yeah.
And try their best. Having this kind of inspiration, it can be 100% shot.
Right.
Not 1% or 2%.
No, definitely. See, this is a start, and I'm happy.
Not necessarily everybody has to become an actor.
Yeah.
Whoever is interested, probably they can start there.
Yeah.
There's a choice of doing things.
No, this is a start for me, and I think it's happening at the
Are
right
you
age.
willing to take that response?
Yeah, definitely.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, with time I'll take more responsibilities as well.
Probably you can start with one.
Yeah. Why not?
So your fan club, direct fan club. Indirectly there are many. Now directly you can have people who can look up.
There are also hate clubs, Ashwatthana. All types of clubs are.
How is jealousy?
I think we are all flawed as human beings. I think the problem starts when we start pretending like we don't have flaws. I think the better way to be is recognize and be cognizant to the fact that you're flawed and not forget that you're flawed so you're able to deal with it better.
Nikhil, Can you sell me one insurance to me? Can you convince me to buy a insurance from you?
100%. It depends on what insurance. Life
If only insurance companies are making money,
Huh.
people are not getting benefited. See, ultimately, who knows that insurance company is going to exist or not?
We live in such an uncertain world, Ashwathana. If you were to look at the maths behind it, the number of catastrophes are going up so fast. One COVID will shut down I don't know how many insurance companies. One flood will shut down so many more. One something will shut down so many more. So while insurance companies might make money in a status quo world for prolonged periods of time, in the kind of world that we are stepping into, I think net that equation of you buying insurance versus not buying insurance, I think you are doing a good thing financially by buying insurance. So for that reason too, maybe you should consider getting an insurance.
I think I'll be sharing more of my money to the administrative cost,
Yeah.
to a broker,
At least
mediation
Yeah,
charges.
yeah.
It is a big money. All lion share will be taken away by all these things.
Yeah.
Probably, and we end up getting nothing.
one medical illness will ruin a family because hospitalization is getting so expensive. So for a vast majority of the country, I think especially medical insurance is so important because I have seen it. I have seen somebody will suddenly get a disease which needs more money in treatment than they have earned all their lives.
Probably a community-based insurance system, a community pooling system
Yeah.
works out better than all this,
Then large corporations.
than large corporations.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. If you were to think of a cooperative kind of an insurance scheme, a couple of years ago, I can't remember the companies exactly, but Amazon and Facebook and a bunch of companies came out and said, we will build our own insurance company because we have so many employees and each of them have to get insured in turn. But that never worked out because even if you create your own cooperative, the running cost of the cooperative, which is not at scale, will take out the arbitrage of going to a larger insurance company which is doing it at scale.
I was trying to pull your leg. Nikhil will have something more interesting.
Yeah.
So turning the tables. So if you would like to have your name, the finance minister
Right.
of the state of Karnataka, what is your take? What you would like to do?
First, reduce taxes for everybody. No, that's a very selfish way of me saying this, but genuinely, I think in society, the smartest people, there's a dichotomy in what I'm saying, but I think the smartest people I have met are politicians and comedians because they have to think on the spot and be able to maneuver a situation so often that other professions do not have to do it. Personally, I think I would be terrible as a politician and I don't think I'm equipped with the skill sets to be one. But if I had to be the finance minister, what would I genuinely do? I think paying tax is looked at in society at large as the opposite of a privilege. I feel we need to appreciate taxpayers more in whatever form. And we need to change the notion of thinking about tax as it should not feel like you're giving money to a certain place where you're not seeing the benefits of it. But people have to become more cohesive in society where they pay tax and they're appreciated for paying tax. And they somehow, we take them to the point where they start to believe at some level that it is a privilege that they're paying tax. And in return for that, they're getting all of what they will get. When society, I think, becomes more efficient and government becomes more efficient.
I appreciate. The taxpayers need to be recognized more, even more and more privilege, so that they get more inspired to pay the tax.
Correct.
And that can be more used in a better way, so that it gives more satisfaction while he is convinced to pay the tax with more sincerity, more commitment. ಭಾಳ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಹುಡುಗನ ಹತ್ರ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಇಷ್ಟ ನಿಖಿಲ್?
ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಶ್ವಥನ ನನಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಜನ ಇಷ್ಟ. ನಂಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾರೋ ಸಿಟಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಡ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಲ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕೊಲೀಗ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು. ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಜನ ನಂಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇರೋ ಜನಗಿಂತ ತುಂಬ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಥರ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನನಗೆ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲಿ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಪೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಜನ.
ಭಾಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಜನರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ರಿಯಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ನಿಜವಾದ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಬಾಸಿಡರ್. ಯು ಆರ್ ಮೈ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಬಾಸಿಡರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಅಶ್ವಥ್.
Recently, you had made a statement about the Bangalore people and Bangalore youngsters that has really become a viral, stating how Bangalore people live and how they talk and do things. Probably would like to know more about that.
Yeah, I think the one unique trait, and this is not like I'm not trying to market a city which I call home, but this is something I genuinely feel for the people of Bangalore, that when you meet somebody here for the first time, immaterial of what financial background they might come from, I think people talk about their belief, their work ecosystem. People talk about many other things before trying to gauge who belongs to which family or who has what. And that in such a capitalistic world today is refreshing.
Good, they'll be talking more about themselves, what
Correct.
they do,
Correct.
how much impact they are able to
Correct.
make,
Correct.
the way they do things. So really nice, not about the background,
Yeah.
or I'm from where,
Yeah.
how much money, all these things, not flaunting.
Yeah.
Good. But one more interesting thing of your statement, saying that, the big people, the achievers, in a simple dress, in a simple chapel, they walk around without flaunting anything. So that is also a very impressive statement, living simply. A simple people, high achievers, the rich people, having a simple life, walking around within a chapel.
Right.
What is your take on that?
I think it happens a lot in Bangalore. I see it very often. I think there is one, especially like in my friend circle, there is one group of Bangalore who are publicly known to be very wealthy, but it's the kind of community where, if I had to compare with a Delhi, if somebody in this community buys a fancy gas guzzling big car, I don't think the rest of the people in the community look at it and say, wow, what car. They look at it and think, what is wrong with this person to be doing this today? And that is a novelty of Bangalore.
Instead of buying an electric vehicle.
Yeah, and I not just electric vehicle, but I think unnecessarily going that
Flaunting.
extra mile, I think has become more a negative thing than a positive thing.
More going for a sustainable way of doing
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So how do you foresee Bangalore, where Bangalore can reach? What kind of potential is there for Bangalore?
I think Bangalore has more potential than every city, not just in India, but I would not be far-fetched in saying many cities across the world. A lot has to change. I think we have our problems like the rest of the world has its problems. But just from a people perspective and from an opportunity perspective, if you need 5 things to make a city great, I think 2 or 3 things are already there. So I am very hopeful about Bangalore, and this city has given me so much personally that it would be wrong for me to be another way and not be a champion for Bangalore or champion Bangalore's cause.
Nikhil, finally one thing
Yeah.
I would like to ask. Doing right things, now we have become the number one in the country. Can we become the number one in the entire world
As a city,
as a city?
100%. I don't see why not. If you were to travel to the West today, you go to Europe, you go to America, you go to like Southeast Asia, even like different pockets of the world, everybody is unnerved, inflation is uncontrollable, recession in one form or another is either there or coming very quickly, whenever you talk to them, they all talk about India as this big opportunity, even though they're critical about their own geography where they live. So, if the entire world is thinking we are this big opportunity, we have the demography to become this big opportunity, I think if they all believe in us, it would be silly for us not to believe in ourselves. And I think we do have that opportunity.
Nikhil, I would like to ask you one interesting question. What is your take on South Indian upbringing?
I think, Ashwathnarayan, much like Indians are culturally more connected than I would say our Western peers, I think South Indians culturally are slightly different. I think they tend to be a little more timid, a little soft spoken. But the one great trait I see in South Indians is when they're growing, when they're starting a business, they typically, I'm not saying in all cases, but in more cases than usual, will not do it on the back of someone else. I think they grow with the community that they're part of. And I think this is a unique thing for South Indians that we should all acknowledge and appreciate.
Coffee with Nama Ashwath.